Okay then, we have a lot of news to cover since last week. First off, I bet most of you already know of the new Zelda spin-off known as Hyrule Warriors. Before I get into what this means to the Zelda franchise in the future, I must say that Hyrule Warriors is not the next mainline Zelda title as stated by Aoji Aonuma. Similar to Link's crossbow training, Hyrule Warriors is a spin-off and likely does not have any relevance to the Zelda canon. Also, some have pointed out that the gameplay of Hyrule Warriors is an exact copy of Dynasty Warriors. How this title came to fruition was that Nintendo Software Development Group No. 3, that is managed by Aonuma for the sole purpose of making Zelda titles, was partnered with Tecmo Koei. Not sure how to pronounce that, but they are the publisher of Dynasty Warriors. One thing to note is that Tecmo Koei is aiding Nintendo in making this game. In addition, some speculate that Hyrule Warriors, which the title is still in development, is a marketing strategy to get a third-party developer to make a quote-unquote Nintendo game on the Wii U to generate more sales for the console and hopefully get more third-party support. But all that aside, the reveal of Hyrule Warriors does give us plenty of clues about the development and the release of Zelda Wii U. To do that, we have to look back at the development history of Software Development Group No. 3. From interviews from both Miyamoto and Aonuma, they have clarified that when Skyward Sword was first being developed at the end of Phantom Hourglass in 2007. The game was released in 2011, so Skyward Sword has a rough development period of 4 years. However, Spirit Tracks was released in 2009 by the same team. In conclusion, the development group has worked on 2 mainline Zelda titles at the same time, until after 2009, which they worked another 2 years for Skyward Sword. Keeping those numbers in mind, we go back to Twilight Princess in 2006, and the spin-off Link's Crossbow Training in 2007. Link's Crossbow Training did use the same engine and setting in Twilight Princess, similar to the new spin-off Hyrule Warriors using a similar getup as Skyward Sword. However, what we have to keep in account is that Tecmo Koei is helping to develop the game. An explanation for that is Nintendo's workload. Ever since Skyward Sword's release in 2011, Aonuma and development team No. 3 has been extremely busy. They've been developing games such as Wind Waker HD and Link Between Worlds that both came out in 2013. And to add another game, Hyrule Warriors, to their workload must be exhausting to say the least. However, this development period shows plenty of evidence for a separate Zelda title that is being developed. However, the only notable games that development team No. 3 is working on at the moment is Hyrule Warriors and a potential Zelda Wii U. So remember my last statement about team No. 3 working on Skyward Sword and Spirit Tracks at the same time. But when Spirit Tracks came out, Skyward Sword was released 2 years afterwards. Hyrule Warriors was already announced to be released in 2014. By that standard, we can conclude that development for this new Zelda Wii U game potentially will be completed 2 years after Hyrule Warriors release, which would be around 2016, give or take. In addition, Nintendo's development team No. 3 is being aided by a third party. But let me ask you, why do they really need assistance from a third party for a Zelda game? Is the only reason for third-party support for the Wii U is to generate sales? Or could it be that development team No. 3 needs help to focus on making the mainline Zelda title? The team was extraordinarily busy, as I said before, in making Wind Waker HD, Link Between Worlds, and a potential new Zelda Wii U. In order to focus on a new Zelda title, they would naturally seek assistance when it came to making a spin-off Zelda, which is Hyrule Warriors. We assumed that Hyrule Warriors was in development sometime prior to its announcement, which would further support my theory that development team No. 3 was not working on 1 or 2, but an astonishing 4 Zelda titles at once. Of course they would need help, with Tecmo Koei aiding a development of Hyrule Warriors and Wind Waker HD and Link Between Worlds already released. There's nothing left for the development team to be aided on Hyrule Warriors at this point but then to work on the new Zelda. In addition, from an interview with Miyamoto after the release of Skyward Sword, he did say that development team No. 3 was already hard at work for a new title. Skyward Sword was released in 2011 with a development period of 4 years, so assuming that the next title has a similar development period, we can assume a new Zelda will be released sometime 2015-2016, which supports my previous theory last episode, with a probable announcement or some kind of information in E3 2014. Also, let's talk about the other Wii U titles, mainly Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart 8, that are expected to be released in 2014 along with Hyrule Warriors. From that inference, we can conclude that 2015 titles are somewhat a mystery. Perhaps a Zelda Wii U title may be revealed in 2015. Who knows? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Well, that's all the information I have for you guys. Special thanks goes to FreddyK200 and DarkLink421K for contributing to this week's episode. If you have any information for next week's episode, message me with the source and I will feature your name on next week's video. Episode 3 will be released on December 30th, next Monday. Please like, favorite, and subscribe if you're new. Till then, this is the video of the day.
She sees you when you're sleeping. She knows when you're awake. She knows if you've been back!
I wonder what's for dinner.